Good Monday morning. Most of us are back. Al is back. Eddie is back. Boomer and I are back. Jerry will be back with us tomorrow. Not lazy. He's down some Williamsburg baseball thing, Al said. So he'll be back tomorrow. Then it'll be the full crew in July for 4 days in a row. It felt like we left a month ago. This vacation that we had, felt very long, which is a good thing. I feel like I haven't seen Al in a very long time. He had COVID there towards the end of the last week we worked, and then we didn't see him. So it's fun to just see the faces as we head into an all-star break and a home run derby and a first half of baseball that was just absolutely putrid. But we're still going to have some fun. As I've said many times, these teams are not ruining our summer. The Mets are not going to ruin our summer. The Yankees are not going to ruin our summer. We're going to make the best of it. It's a feel-good Monday. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Good morning, G. I'm doing all right. It looks like somebody was gnawing on my mic sponge here.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, who sat in my chair? Eddie, anybody know? Al, do you know who sat in my chair?
It's got to be Jerry, right?
Yeah, I would say Jerry.
So was he gnawing on the mic sponge?
He doesn't normally.
I mean, see,
there's a chunk out of the mic.
Somebody bit into my mic sponge, and I want to know who it was. Now, if it's not Jerry, and if Jerry was sitting here, because I do believe he does sit here.
Yeah.
Who else may be sitting here, and what other shows may be run out of this studio? Do you have any idea, Al?
Who knows what goes on here on the weekends? That's the thing.
That's the thing. So somebody's gnawing on my mic sponge, and I'm annoyed that somebody gnawed on my mic sponge.
Now,
I hate gnawing on sponges. I don't know why.
Is there any other way that chunk gets out of that mic screen, mic sponge, whatever you want to call it, without someone taking a bite out of it?
Somebody chewed on this.
There's no other option?
You know how some guys around here, they put their face right up against the microphone and they bite on
Bite on it?
That's Craig used to do that all the time.
He used to sniff it, though, right?
He was sniffing it, sniffing his fingers for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but I'm just... Can you get me a new mic, a new mic sponge? Is that possible?
Here's one right here.
Yeah.
You want this?
Oh, yes, thank you.
There you go.
All kind of nastiness on that, man.
Could be Zach Gelb. I think Zach Gelb comes in here.
Yeah,
and then
that guy looks like he likes to chew on a lot of things.
Yes, he does. He'll sit right there and then make sure that the boomer behind him is clear when he's like interviewing somebody, and make sure that he's like, hey, I'm in the big studio.
The big studio.
And he does these Zoom interviews with people, so it could be him as well.
Yes. So I saw Fleegs this morning. And Fleegs and I were the ones that were talking before we left, and I purposely did not bring it up. You and I played golf last week.
Yep.
I didn't bring it up. I didn't say the word. I didn't say anything about the New York Mets.
That's right. I asked you, and you delivered that day, and we spent many hours together, probably 7-8 hours together. You did not say Mets one time. We talked a little hockey.
Yep.
We talked golf. And a bunch of other stuff, non-sports stuff. You did not bring up the Mets, so
I didn't want to
you.
do that. I didn't want to ruin your day. And they were right in the middle of that little winning streak that they had. Mm-hmm. And I wanted so badly to say, you see in your face. And I couldn't do that because of the way this whole thing ended and what happened with Max Scherzer again yesterday, which was very, very disappointing.
And, by the way, you weren't one of these guys that were saying they were going to turn it around, so there was no way you could have gloated.
No, I wasn't gloating, but I'm not saying that, but I'm the guy that was around when the Amazins came into existence. I was the guy around when they used to hold up, you got to believe, in the stands. I was around for all of that.
Yeah.
So I always have that within my DNA. That's why I know it's easy, and believe me, I run into Met fans all the time. That are upset, that can't believe we can't get it straight, and all this other stuff. I understand all that, but I'm also a guy that has to be somewhat optimistic. I can't be totally pessimistic, and that's why I didn't want to even get into your head last week when we were playing golf. That's because I respected your request of me.
Yeah.
But now, this is our job.
Yes, now we have to do it.
Talk about it, and this is so disappointing the way they ended this weekend. And that first inning with the Machado home run, you're like, oh, my God, here we go again. I just wanted to have it a nice Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
And so I ended up polishing off a bottle of wine And I'm just like, God almighty, what are we doing?
Yeah, and it was a flashback to the last year, and I know that this was, out in San Diego and not at Citi Field, but it was Max Scherzer being terrible, home runs being hit off of him, and also Joe Musgrove shutting them down, which is all those memories that we had in the playoff series last year. So if you weren't over that, like I have not gotten over that, and that terrible taste in our mouths the way that they left us, well, they gave you a little bit of a repeat of it yesterday. So, yeah, I mean,
the amazing thing is, is Max, he's made 15 starts, so he's on pace for, probably 28, 29 starts, which is good. Mm-hmm. He was 8-2 going into this game yesterday.
Well, what does that mean?
I don't know what it really means other than, it's a positive. It's a positive number. That, that's, to me, if I'm him, I'm looking at that and going, hell, I've won 8 games that I've pitched. I understand it's not those numbers that really matter much anymore. When Tom Seaver had over 300 wins, it mattered. For some reason, all of a sudden, it doesn't matter anymore.
I'll tell you why. Because of the way that those guys pitch. They used to pitch complete games. They used to pitch into the 8th inning. I mean, now these guys get out in 5 innings, with a lead, and then it gets blown, or maybe they go out in 5 innings with a loss, and losing, and the team comes back. So the win-loss thing is just completely blown out of the water with the way that the bullpens are used these days.
And by the way, I know the way the bullpens are used these days. You know why? Because Aaron Boone screwed that up yesterday, too. And I'm like, and he's saying after the game, well, I wanted to get Domingo out of there. I haven't feel good about going into the, into the break and everything. Feel good about going into the break. He threw a perfect game, for God's sake. If that guy isn't, at the top of his game and his confidence isn't flying off the table, I don't know whose is.
Yeah, I mean, his explanation, I guess, made sense after the game, how he walked a couple guys and he thought that this is how he's going to unravel, and we felt like he was a little bit tired, whatever it was, but of course it didn't end up working out. And then the Gleyber-Torres error, which is just, I don't know if you want to blame that on lack of focus. I know that's something that's been a big point for you and Gleyber-Torres. I don't know if it's that or just flat-out sloppiness. But, yeah, that was a terrible one to end on. Absolutely terrible to blow that game and to have it go the way that it did, have another Aaron Boone decision that's going to be criticized with the bullpen, another Gleyber-Torres moment that's going to be criticized by the fan base. And then what do? Is fire their hitting coach. Like, that's going to be the thing that changes things. Aaron Judge isn't healthy. And we know when Aaron Judge isn't healthy, this team is different offensively. So they fire the hitting coach. Brian Cashman does something he hasn't done in 26 years, which is fire a coach during the season. Is that going to make a difference? No.
Well, I'll tell you why that makes a difference to me. It makes a difference to me because I think he already has somebody in his mind who he wants to hire and bring in. Now, he said it's going to be outside the organization, so that means he's already identified somebody. And that means he does not like the approach that the team is taking at the plate. That's all that means to me. Because so you say to yourself, what does a hitting coach do for a particular team? Well, he or she, in this case, could sit down with these players and say, this is going to be our approach. This is what we are going to try to do. And, this is a really, without Aaron Judge, obviously, completely inept offense. We know that. But the approach may be the wrong approach that they have been taking for the first half of the season. I think that's the only reason why you would do something is to try to get a fresh set of eyes, somebody who has a different hitting approach within a game, and you try to get the most out of your players in that regard. That's the only reason why you do something like this, because you don't like the way the players are approaching their at-bats.
I'm going to do a little thought experiment with you right now.
All right, bring it on.
A little thought experiment. Who's the best pitcher you've ever seen in your life?
Tom Seaver.
Okay, who's the best hitter you've ever seen in your life?
Barry Bonds.
Okay, who are their hitting coaches and pitching coaches?
Hell if I know.
Exactly. These guys don't matter. Who's the best hitting coach of all time? Tell me who the best hitting coach is of all. Does anybody have that answer?
The guy that used to be on the Yankees, Kevin Long. I don't know.
Kevin Long is the answer?
I have no idea.
The point is that none of these guys matter.
Yes,
none of them.
All right, so they do matter. So let's not act like a crazed
fan. Oh, come on.
It's
just silly.
It's delivery.
Silly.
It's you got to work with guys. You got to, that's why when guys do get on hot streaks, what do they say? Me and the hitting coach have been working hard at this. We've been working at the fundamentals. I've been trying to get myself right.
I've never heard me and the hitting coach worked hard on this.
Yes,
come on. The Mets made fun. They made fun of a fake hitting coach last year. What was that guy? The Nuts Stevenson or something was the name of that guy?
Nuts Stevenson did did not at all help them last year,
Right.
obviously, at the end of the season.
Oh, Donnie Stevenson. That's right.
Not Stevenson. I like Not Stevenson better.
I don't know why that was in my head. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is one of those things where Yankee fans are calling for a lot of stuff. They've called for Brian Cashman. They've called for Aaron Boone. They've called for DFAing Josh Donaldson, all these things. And then Brian Cashman was like, all right, sacrificial lamb. Here's something going into the break to make it seem like we care.
All right, so let me explain this to you. And I know you did play baseball. Well, you kept the book.
No, that was my senior year. I kept the book.
You kept the book
because of injuries. Yes,
I know
two multiple injuries. Yes, and I played for a former major leaguer, by the way.
I know you did.
And Neil Heaton was my coach, so I've got some experience with some professional athletes.
I understand that, but it's been a long time now. It's been over 20 years.
Yes, it has been.
That you've actually participated in a real live baseball
game. Yes, that is true.
And so here's my point. My point is that these hitting coaches, these fielding coaches, these first and third base coaches, they all play a role in the success of the team. And if the team is really successful, then maybe you don't know who they are just simply because they're going about their business and the players are living up to their expectations. And when you have guys like Josh Donaldson who have like 14 hits and 10 of those are home runs, I mean, there's something wrong. And I'm not saying that he just in particular, I'm just everybody. And there is an approach that every batter takes, and they do go over their at-bats with their coach. They look at videotape, and they try to figure out what they're doing wrong or what at one point in time in their career they were doing right to get the best out of that player. So it is a very important relationship.
I'll give you another one.
I know it's just a very important relationship.
Okay,
like I would have with the quarterback coach, like I would have with an offensive coordinator.
That brings me to this,
like
though.
I would have with a head coach.
All right, so this is all right. Manager. Good quarterback coach. What happens to him?
He usually gets hired either as an offensive coordinator or a head coach.
All right, and then if he does really well as an offensive coordinator, then what happens?
Well, then he gets the head job, like my buddy Frank Reich.
Okay, so what happens when a hitting coach is really good?
Yeah,
he ends up getting fired a couple years later because then the team stinks. The hitting coaches get promoted to manager all the time.
Yeah,
the great hitting. Who's the next hot great hitting coach that we're going to hire? Like
it's still a voice in your ear while you're playing and while you're trying to work through your difficulties. That's all I'm saying.
All right, fine.
And I know it's a sacrificial lamb. Nobody cares. Nobody knows who they are.
Yeah.
But the point being is that within the scope of the team, within the sport, they are important for the players. Believe it or not, they are important. Now, I have no idea why they fired this guy. Again, I think it's more of an approach thing.
Well, Brian Cashman said after the game, so that was his reason for firing him. And they asked him what was the big problem with the approach of the team. Went, who are you going to hire next? And droned on for a half an hour and didn't say a goddamn thing.
Well, he never does. But, I'll tell you what speaks volumes. The batting averages, the hitting with runners in scoring position, and now all of a sudden...
And the fact that the MVP is hurt.
Well, that too. But the bullpen has imploded over the last week or so. And yesterday... there was no reason to take Domingo German out of the game, especially with the fact that it is the All-Star break.
He hasn't been able to figure him out.
But
there's been three different times he's pulled him early.
There's just no reason to.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, I think most Yankee fans and most people who watch this game would agree with you. Aaron Boone saw it differently. But this is now at least the third time where he's pulled German early. And things haven't worked out with the bullpen. Now, the bullpen has been very, very good. I think still, even after yesterday, statistically, the best or second best in baseball.
But it's just the last 5 games it's been bad.
Not
I think
good,
they've given up like 19 or 20 runs or something like that. So they've been taxed. Even more reason maybe to keep Domingo German on the mound. But the moment he came out of that dugout, man, I was like, I would imagine most Yankee fans, I'm a baseball fan, and I want the Yankees to be able to win. I want to talk about winning teams. I want to talk about playoffs with our teams in those playoffs. And I just was like, I was like every Yankee fan going, what the hell is he doing? Well, why is he yanking this guy?
Right, because you've also seen it before, too, where he is, whatever reason, he's just doesn't like Domingo German getting up there at the pitch count. He's
pitch count. There's no pitch count issue yesterday.
I know, but I'm saying he just gets nervous with him for whatever reason. He gets nervous. He walked a couple guys, and he thought that he was tired. I don't know. I can't. I'm trying to play devil's advocate with Aaron Boone. It's tough to. It's tough to with this one.
And look, as an ex-quarterback, I hate Monday morning quarterbacking, and I know that's what I'm doing right now.
Well, no, you said it was a first guess.
But I'm just saying. Well, you wouldn't know that because you weren't sitting with me watching.
Well,
the
you're
game.
telling me you don't lie.
There's no reason for me to lie about this, but I'm just saying, like I'm with you out there, Yankee fans. I'm with you. I know exactly how you feel because I felt the same way watching this game because this guy's pitching great. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Well, so I just that again. There's probably been about 5 or 6 games, at least that I can think of, where the manager has done the wrong thing, and it's come back to bite him right in the ass. And then you ask him after the game, and it's
no, that's Brian Cashman.
So what does Aaron Boone say?
He's like, well, does those little coughs, and then basically also says nothing. But yeah, I mean, it's the same story after every one of these games with Buck Showalter, Aaron Boone, when Brian Cashman talks, and basically what you've got is 2 mediocre baseball teams that are probably going to finish out the string and be very disappointing in the end. And Aaron Judge, by the way, that injury, who the hell knows when he's coming back?
All right, so I do.
You do?
Yeah, he's going to come back here in the second half, and he's going to give it a go. Now, whether it's right out of the All-Star break or not, first things first, he is not going to Seattle, and I'm happy to hear that. Mm-hmm. He has no business being there. He's got to take care of this toe. I know that surgery is an option. That is the last option. Nobody really wants to go through this. This is a really serious injury for a guy for any guy for that matter, but for a guy of his size, 6'7", 270 pounds, it is really serious, and it's his back foot. And I've talked to a number of people about this.
Toe guys, foot guys, ligament guys.
Yeah,
really. The head toe. You went to the head toe guy.
Listen. You know who I talk to.
Yeah, I know.
And I have information
about
maybe not his specific injury because people that I talk to don't actually work on Aaron Judge, but they can only go by what has been talked about publicly.
Yeah.
And this is an extremely serious injury where he may never be the same again.
Wow.
Remember when
come on.
You remember when Derek Jeter broke his ankle?
Yeah.
Never the same after that. Never, ever. And
how old was he though, compared to where Judge is now?
But Judge is a big man. He is a big man. I've had to deal with turf toe.
Yeah.
In my career, there was nothing worse.
You know, it's funny.
It is like between that and plantar fasciitis, it just absolutely screws you up. And here's the thing. It's going to be bothering him. He knows it's going to be bothering him. He has said that he is not comfortable. And he knows that he's going to have to tolerate pain. And anytime any athlete, but maybe with the exception of Patrick Mahomes, by the way, because he's the only one that could deal with an ankle injury the way he dealt with the ankle injury through the playoffs this year in the Super Bowl, that, this thing is significant, man. And he's just not going to be the same player because that foot is going to be in the back of his mind all the time. That toe is going to be in the back of his mind all the time. And I hate to say it.
What about surgery in the offseason, though?
Surgery is not a panacea in this regard, because...
You're telling me this is an injury that will not heal?
Just because you reattach a ligament doesn't mean it's going to be stronger than it's not like Tommy John surgery because it is the toe. And this is a big deal, man. This is a big deal. He is a big guy. He pushes himself to the limit every game. This is why he makes these great catches in right field. This is why he hits these home runs. This is why he's always hustling, busting his ass. It's not like he's a 5'10", 165-pound guy.
Sure.
He's not Anthony Volpe. No. I mean, this is 6'7". This is like a tight end. This is Rob Gronkowski playing right field. And I don't know what size shoe he has. I bet you he's probably like a 16 or 17 foot, I would imagine. So you can imagine how painful this particular injury is. And I hate to even be the bearer of bad news, but he may have off-season surgery, but I do believe that he will try to come back this year. They'll probably put some cortisone in there, try to keep the swelling down, and then he'll just have to manage the pain. But as a former athlete who has played hurt, you're just not the same person. Unless, of course, like I said, you're Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, right.
Then you could do anything.
All right, it's Boomer and Gio just getting started on this Monday morning.